Yes, tell me, Sumedha. If anyone else has any kind of a doubt, please do let me know, guys. No one else? All right, no worries. But tell me your question. Okay, Sneha. So, Sumedha, we did finally, when we went ahead and looked into the chart, we did look into that 1st May to 30th June data as well, right? When we finally plotted the chart, we did look into those 6 months. That is January to June. Pre-camp, pre changes, during changes, and post changes. Correct? So we were able to go and cover the whole thing then. Correct, Sumedha? That's what we did. We actually looked into the decline after 1st May as well. No, see, as an analyst, always go ahead and start from there, Suveda. So that's my point. As an analyst, you'll have to go ahead and start from year on year comparison. Whenever you are looking at numbers, that's the starting point for you. The first thing that you have to do is come up with the business objective, come up with the problem statement, and then come up with the KPIs. Correct, Sumedha? Once you have done that, then when you go and start looking in your data, then you have to go ahead and start with comparison. This comparison can be with last month, with last year. Correct? Since we were looking at 2 months data, it would have been better to go and compare with last year first, and then start going ahead and creating our hypothesis, and keep on refining our hypothesis at different levels, and then finally go ahead and combine it with recent data as well. So this was a step-by-step process of how do we analyze. Does it make sense, Subeda? Because what will happen is, see, if I go and ask you, uh, let's say I'm actually looking into the data of October. Let's say, for example, if I go and ask you guys that we are talking about Learning Web Academy, right? So let's go ahead and talk about Digital Vidya for a minute. What do you think? When do we get the maximum enrollments? Why May, Yoshita? Summer break? Okay. Anyone else? Session of the college gets over. Okay. Anyone else? So we get maximum enrollments during April, May. You know why? Think about it, why? Who thought August? Okay. So believe it or not, more often than not, our students are actually professionals who are actually working, right? So when in March, April, they start getting their ratings, they start getting their appraisals and promotion letters and all that. And when people don't get what they were looking for, that is the time when people go ahead and decide that they would want to go ahead and change their field. They would want to go ahead and learn something and get a kickstart in their career, right? So this is how interesting data is. Make sense to everyone? So I'm coming to that only, Sumita. Okay, Rishabh. Now think about it this way. If changes, Rajni's changes get into effect in April, which was the case with us, correct, Sumita? Her changes were getting into effect in March, April. And when we compare data, we will see compare data with recent dates, say January, February, or May, June. What we will see is automatically March, April will have more registrations. Correct, everyone? As people are getting results of their appraisals and all that, they will go and start enrolling in our courses. Correct, everyone? So it will not be fair. It will not be fair to compare April numbers with that of Feb. Correct? So this is why we always start with year on year comparison. Correct? Absolutely right, Rohit. This is why every business we do that. That's how we started, and we move towards recent dates as well. Towards the end, we compared recent dates as well, just to go ahead and prove our point. Any questions, any doubts? Retail, it's a big deal. They said, okay. So that was with the case study. Now you want an idea about measurement protocol. Okay. When did we do that? Okay, here it is. So measurement strategy is what? This is the question, right, Rishabh? In measurement strategy, we always start with the objective. For example, why did you join Digital Vidya? To get a kickstart in your career, correct? Then when you came up with your objective, there are multiple strategies that you can go for and fulfill your objective, right? So you listed all your strategies and you decided that this is one strategy that you will employ, that you will use to go for and achieve your objective. Then once you have defined your strategy, once you have defined your objective, once you have defined your strategy, then you go ahead and create your tactical plans. Okay, Rishabh? So if you want to go ahead and become digital marketer, there are different ways to go ahead and do that. This is tactical planning. Read digital marketing magazines, go through LinkedIn articles, watch YouTube videos, learn through Coursera, Udemy, and join Digital Vidya. Correct? And you can actually go ahead and deploy more than one tactics at a time. Right, Rishabh? So for each of your tactic, you will go ahead and come up with your KPIs, key performance indicators. How would you go ahead and measure the success of your tactics? For example, joining Digital Vidya, what would be your KPIs? How many classes were you able to go and attend? How did you do in your assignments? How easily were you able to go and clear your certifications? Did you get internship or not? How many marks you got in your tests? Did you get a new job or not? Did you get new clients or not? Correct? So all these would go and become your KPIs. And of course, there would be different KPIs for different segments of people, right? So you once you have done all these things, then you would be able to go ahead and create your marketing strategy. Does it make sense? So that's what marketing strategy is all about. KPI are the units through which we will go ahead and measure something. Okay. Anything else, guys? Okay. So let's go ahead and start our session. No, KPI doesn't mean micro goal or something like this, Sayed. Okay, give me just a minute about KPI. Normal bounce rate, we did talk about in our session number 2 or 3, Rohit. So for retail, bounce rates are around 35 to 40%, industry benchmarks for retail websites. For BFSI, that is banking financial services, they're around 25 to 30%. Around for forums, blogs, it's somewhere around 80 to 90%. Make sense, Rohit? We are just discussing doubts right now, Minar. KPIs are, think about this way. There are a lot of metrics associated with me, right? If I go and talk about myself, Kunal Mehta, there are a lot of metrics associated with me. I have an age, correct? 36. I have height, 5'10". I have weight, 73. I have blood pressure level 120 by 70. I have my sugar level 96. I have my marks in class 10th 72%, marks in class 12th 71%, marks in BTech 72%. As you can see, the most consistent performer ever. Marks in MBA was 8.7 on 10 CGPA. Then I have got my total experience 13 years. I've got my team size 10 DRs. Then I have my revenue that I go ahead and make every single year. That's like 3 million. Correct? So all these are metrics associated with me. Make sense to all? And then of course my salary as well, which I'm not going to disclose. So XXXX. Make sense to all? If I go ahead and ask you, what are my KPIs? What would you say? Out of all these things, what are my KPIs? My marks, my experience. So that's a very high bounce rate. So my KPI would completely depend upon the objective, the question that I'm trying to go and answer. For example, if I am getting health insurance, what would be my KPI? My age, my weight, my BP. Correct, everyone? My sugar level. Would it matter for them how much experience am I having or how much revenue I'm making? At the very same time, if I am getting hired somewhere for a job, my KPIs would be my experience, my salary, my revenue, my team size. Correct, everyone? My degree. Correct. Would they care about how many marks did I score in class 10th and class 12th? After 13 years of experience, nobody would care about it, right? But at the very same time, when you guys got an email about me being your instructor of web analytics, many of you must have checked my profile on LinkedIn. Correct, everyone? You guys did, right? Which is a good thing. You were also looking for certain KPIs. Were you looking for my salary? Were you looking for my team size? Were you looking for my revenue? No, right? How does it matter to you how much is my salary or what is my team size and all? No, you don't have to, Shraddha. But you were looking for certain specific things. What were you looking for? You were looking for probably my college, where I'm from, my company. Why? Because had you seen something like IIT, IIM, I've worked in say Google, Facebook, this would have given you a lot more confidence, right? This would give you a lot more confidence. Okay, I'm actually going ahead and talking to a person who actually knows something. Correct, everyone? Who's an industry lead. Whereas if you over there see associate working in Dhiru Motors, nothing against Dhiru Motors, but would you actually go ahead and be confident in getting into sessions with somebody, an associate working in Dhiru Motors? Or you did, Sumedha? Which podcast? So all of us do go ahead and look for these things, right? Absolutely right, Yoshita. And these are your KPIs, correct? So KPIs completely depend upon the objective. Guys, yes, no, maybe? And these are very, very important because all your business decisions will be taken upon these KPIs. Let me go ahead and show you something, okay? I'll teach you marketing today. I don't know how many of you have done MBA, but today I will take a crash course for you for MBA. Okay, can you all see this data on my screen right now? Now what it shows? It shows at different times of the day how many sessions I've had and how much revenue I've made. Correct? Can you all see it? Different times of the day. Oh, Mandar. Okay. How many sessions I've had and how much revenue I've made. Now my question to you guys. If you have this data, how would you utilize this to create your campaign strategy? For example, there are different kinds of campaigns. There are upsell discounts, there are cross sell discounts, there are new products, new product launch, there are loyalty discounts, there are informational campaigns. Correct, everyone? Do you all know what are cross sell and upsell discounts? If not, tell me and I can explain it to you. Everyone no, 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 not Sumedha. So let me go ahead and explain it to you. Okay, that's actually more like a cross sell kind of a thing. So let me explain it to you. Say you guys go out to buy Dell laptop. Let's say Inspiron, right? Shopkeeper pitches you discount on Dell laptop bag. What is this? This is cross sell. Why? When you try to give discount on something that is related to what your customer already has or is trying to buy. Correct, everyone? That is cross sell. Where do you see it most often? In McDonald's. All of us must have heard about it. Sir, ma'am, would you want fries with it? Correct. Should we make a meal of it? Correct. Do you want something to drink with it? So this is the most common question. It happens most often than not on these kind of food outlets. Correct, guys? Now what is upsell? Upsell is, let's say again you guys go out to buy Dell laptop Inspiron and shopkeeper pitches you discount on Dell XPS laptop. Now XPS is a better version of the laptop, right? It's a higher version of the laptop. This is upsell. That is when you give discount on a product that is a higher version of what customer is trying to buy or already has. That is upsell discount. Does it make sense? Where do you see it most often? In movie theaters. Correct, Sumedha. Why movie theaters? Because have you ever tried to go and buy popcorn over there? What happens? Sir, 10 rupees extra and you can get this bucket of popcorn. Bhai, kaun khata hai itna popcorn? And being the Punjabi that I am, I always go and buy that bucket. Then what happens? I eat that popcorn. My family eats that popcorn. We go and distribute popcorn to the whole movie theater like Prashad. And then we are still left with so much of popcorn that we can actually go and ship it to Africa for poor people. Correct? Yeah, we all become popcorn over there. This is why in movie theater you go, you are sitting on popcorn. Popcorn is on you. I mean, there's so much of popcorn because just 10 rupees extra, you can get this bucket full of popcorn, which you don't even need. That is upsell. Correct, everyone? So keeping these things in mind, think about it. What kind of a campaign can be launched at what kind of a time? Okay. Sumita, great. Anyone else? Scroll down. Okay. 6 to 9 upsell. This is good, Sumita? 12 to 6 loyalty. Retargeting between 12 to 3. Okay, 6 to 9 loyalty. 9 to 12 cross sell, 12 to 3 upsell discount. Okay. Anyone else? 6 to 6 cross sell and upsell. Okay. Great. Fantastic. So let me go ahead and tell you why have I asked this question and what I had in my mind. But before I go ahead and answer what to go ahead and launch where, you again go ahead and see this kind of a report on my screen where I'm having 4 users. Kunal, Sneha, Shraddha, Sumedha. Kunal has given us 100 sessions, revenue $200. Sneha, 3 sessions, $1,200. Shraddha, 75 sessions, $1,500. Sumedha, 2 sessions, $1,000. Can you all see this? Now, again, go ahead, apply your logic, think about it. Who should be targeted with what kind of a campaign? Who should be targeted with upsell? Who should be targeted with cross sell discount? Who should be targeted with informational loyalty and all these kind of things? Okay. Sneha with cross sell. Okay. Shraddha with upsell. Okay. Sneha and Sumedha upsell and cross sell. All right. New products, Kunal. Great. Kunal with information, new products, and all. All right. Now let's go ahead and think about the questions that I asked you and what kind of information that I was looking for. Have you ever heard about something called as market basket analysis? Okay. So think about it this way. What is the first thing that you do when you go to a shop like say Big Bazaar or you go to a lifestyle mall or some place like this? What is the first thing that you do? You take a cart, you take a basket to go and put all your stuff, whatever that you're selecting. Okay. Now let's say there is a person standing at the cash counter where people are going ahead making the payment. And this person is actually just going ahead and making a list of all those things that you have bought together. Okay. And this person comes up with an analysis that 80% of people who buy milk also buy bread. Make sense to all? So this is a market, this is what is called as market basket analysis. So let's say your analyst tells you that 80% of people who buy milk also buy bread. Now tell me, as a marketer, how would you go and utilize this information? Great, cross sell discount. So you once you go ahead and buy bread, you will go ahead and get discount on milk. Super, fantastic. Combo offer, fantastic. So if you go ahead and buy both these things together, you will get 10% discount. Fantastic. Great. फिर क्या होगा? Your CMO would come and fire all of you. Correct? This is what will happen. Your chief marketing officer would come and probably fire all of you. Why? Think about it this way. Correct, Yoshita. When was the last time you visited your big basket and all these kind of places? Before lockdown and all? Maybe 2 months, 3 months ago? Remember where they go ahead and keep all these milk items and all these kind of things? Bread and milk and all. Think about it. Towards the freezer, towards the end of the store. Have you seen that? Have you noticed? In the fridge, towards the end of the store. Why? Because these are daily use items, correct? You go to a departmental store. If these daily items are kept right at the entrance, what will happen? People will go and take this item, take the bottle of milk, will get it built, will go back home. But this is not what they want. What they want is they keep it towards the end. Why? So that people can come into the store and look. As they are traveling towards the end of the store, they will actually be able to go ahead and see many more products. More products that they see, more products they would buy. Correct, everyone? So this is why I don't know how many of you have noticed. You go to any kind of a clothing shop, you will find discounted items are kept towards the end. You go to any mall, you will be confused that escalator to go up is on east side. Escalator to go on the third floor is on the west side. Escalator to go up on the food court is on south side, and you have to go ahead, take tour from one side to the other to go to the food court. Correct, everyone? Which is more often than not at the very top. Why? Because more you travel, more shops you would be able to see, more shops you would be able to see, more you would buy. Absolutely right, Yoshita. Correct, everyone? So when you go ahead and see 80% people who buy milk who are also buying bread, what you do? You don't give any kind of a combo offer or discount on these products. What you would do is you will actually go ahead and keep them little farther apart. Milk on one corner, bread on the other corner. And in the middle, you can go ahead and put juices, cookies, butter, yogurt, and all these kind of things. Does it make sense? Now, these are marketing concepts, right? So whether you are actually going ahead and working on online marketing or offline marketing, these concepts never change. So now if you think about it, this kind of a report, we are able to go ahead and sell pretty much pretty decently from 12 to 6. No problem in sales. My problem comes after 6 p.m. So that's when I will go ahead and kickstart my discount campaigns, whether upsell or cross sell. Does it make sense? At what time you think all these e-commerce websites go ahead and register their maximum traffic? During office hours, whether that be Flipkart, Amazon, or whatever, they go ahead and get maximum traffic during office hours. Correct, everyone? So what they do is, if you have noticed, they go ahead and launch all their flash sales, that is new product sales, during 12 to at 12 p.m. Have you ever noticed it? All flash sales happen at 12 p.m. New products are getting launched at 12 p.m. Right, everyone? because that is the time that they go ahead and get maximum traffic. Then what happens at midnight? At midnight, all their big billion sales, Amazon Prime sales, they go ahead and start at midnight. Correct, Sumedha? In fact, I don't know how many of you remember that campaign. Do you remember this Ghar Wapsi sale campaign by Shopcluse? Those of you who can watch this campaign once. Quickly watch this campaign. Did you all see this campaign? Right? What happened? They were able to go ahead and see the exact same report. This is how they came up with a plan to go ahead and launch that kind of a campaign. And you remember it was a very topical campaign as well. Why? Because this Ghar Wapsi and all that was going on at that time. So these are the kind of insights that you can go ahead and get from your KPIs. What are sessions and revenue? These are your KPIs, correct everyone? These are your key performance indicators. And that's how they are used to go ahead and create your whole marketing strategy. Now think about it this way for this report. One thing is for sure that both Sneha and Sumedha are your premium customers. Correct, everyone? But there's a problem over here. What's the problem? Sessions. There doesn't seem to be any loyalty over here. Correct, everyone? Zero loyalty. So what it seems like is that Sumedha and Sneha came up on our website, looked into what they wanted to go and buy, probably got what they wanted to go and buy, and they just bought it, right? But I don't see that loyalty. My biggest tension, my biggest issue over here would be that they shouldn't go for and return their products. Correct, everyone? These are premium customers who should not go and return their products, right? Now tell me something. Who is the most hated person of the world? Even more than Donald Trump and Xi Jinping? Even more than Arvind Kejriwal? KRK. It's a salesman, correct? Everyone hates a salesman, even more than your own mother-in-law. Nobody likes a salesman, correct? Sales call. I mean, forget about taking call. We go ahead, we have Truecaller installed just for sales calls, right, everyone? Just so we can go ahead and skip their phones. This is why we have Truecaller installed on our phone, nothing else. Even when by mistake we go ahead and take their call, how many of you actually go ahead and let them complete their sentence? Correct? You don't even let them complete their sentence, right everyone? You go, nahi chahiye bhaiya, tak, phone kaat dete. Correct? This is what happens. The last thing that you would want to go ahead and do with Sneha and Sumedha is try to be a salesperson. Correct? So no cross sell, upsell, new products. For now, let's say go ahead and send them informational and loyalty programs. Correct, everyone? Shraddha is the best candidate for your cross sell and upsell campaigns. Correct, guys? There is a good enough loyalty, good number of sales. Seems like that she's interested in going ahead and engaging with our platform. That she is a person who you can go and target with cross sell and upsell discounts. Correct, everyone? Now, what about Kunal? Now, remember, there was when you were in school, you always had that one student in your class. When that student did not show up, when he or she did not come up to the class, your teachers almost celebrated. There is always a teammate. If he or she puts down papers, if this person resigns, your managers would probably celebrate. Correct? Kunal is probably one such person. He's good at attrition. You do not want to go ahead and have any custom campaign for Kunal. If he comes by himself, buy something good, but I'm not going to invest any effort for Kunal. Does it make sense? तो भाई अपने $2 पर सेशन ना तो अपने पास रख ले. Correct? As a marketer, you have only limited resources, only limited bandwidth, only limited campaigns that you can go ahead and launch. Right, everyone? So you can actually go ahead and skip Kunal over here. So when I say Kunal, what I mean is these kind of segments. People who are not being profitable to you, they are just coming up again and again. They are only going ahead and buying when they go ahead and see something at dirt cheap prices. That's about it. You do not want to go and engage with them. Make sense to all? So yes, Syed. So both Sumedha and Sneha have high revenue per session. This is why you would want to go ahead and get them looped in your loyalty programs. Smita, very honestly, you learn it by making mistakes. You will run a campaign that would fail. You will learn, this is what I did wrong. So that's how people learn, very honestly. So anyone who says anything otherwise is probably lying. There are no books, no nothing. There are some people who can tell you their own experiences. Dude, this is how I failed. Don't do this. That's the best way. But you learn by failure, either by your own failure or by failures of somebody else. But you will always go and learn by failures. So Syed, you would want to go ahead and engage with your premium customers, right? So that's the idea. That's why I would want to go ahead and have them engaged in the loyalty program. Make sense to everyone? So far, so good. So this is how we use KPIs. This is how we use all this data within Google Analytics to go ahead and come up with our marketing strategies. Like I said, that this was a marketing crash course. I hope that you guys liked it. Okay, now let's go ahead and start with goals. What are goals? Uh, First of all, before I go ahead and talk about goals, tell me what are conversions? What do you think is a conversion? Any idea? Getting customers from campaign. Okay. Whenever a user does whatever we want him or her to do on our platform, that is a conversion. Correct, everyone? That can be watching a video, sharing a post on social media, writing a review, subscribing a newsletter, correct? Viewing a product, purchasing a product, correct, everyone? Commenting, anything that we would want my user to do, that becomes a conversion. So I'll tell you about it, Meena. Don't worry about it. I will tell you about that part as well. So say they are not loyal, na? They are having just 2 and 3 sessions. Loyalty is over here with Shraddha and Kunal. Both are very loyal, a very high number of sessions. So Medha and Sneha not loyal, right? Correct. More engaged, more loyal. So now, Google allows us to capture all non-e-commerce conversions within goals. Okay, non-e-commerce conversions, like where we are not purchasing or selling anything, that is watching a video, sharing on social media, uh, seeing 10 pages on the website, uh, staying for more than 40 minutes on the website, registration on the website. All these can be non-e-commerce conversions. Correct, everyone? So all non-e-commerce conversions are captured within goals within Google Analytics. Makes sense to all? So far, so good, everyone? So GA provides us 4 kinds of goals. Number 1, destination based. Number 2, duration based. Number 3, pages per session based. And number 4, event based. Okay, let's go and talk about the first one, that is destination based. So there are times when a goal or a conversion is deemed to be completed when you reach a specific URL or a page. For example, your registration will be completed only if you reach this specific page, www.abc.com/register-complete.html. Correct, everyone? This is what happens when you go ahead and reach a specific URL, then only that conversion would happen, else it wouldn't. And then there can be multiple steps into it, like registration itself can have multiple steps. So step number 1 can be, let's say, coming to the form, reaching form, that is, let's say, register form.html. Correct. Now step 2 can also be like, say, once you go ahead and submit the form, you come across this terms and conditions page, right, everyone? So register conditions. Then when you go ahead and accept the terms and conditions, again the form comes up and you have to go and confirm your details, right? So step 3 can be confirm details, that is registration, register confirm.html, right, everyone? And then step 4 is, of course, registration complete. That is when people go and reach this specific page, that is registercomplete.html. Make sense to all? Now, this kind of a conversion is there and you would want to go and measure it. Okay, this is a major conversion for me, and how we can actually go and measure it within Google Analytics. So what we do is we will go to our analytics account. Which somehow is not working. What just happened to this? Oh shoot. All right, guys, I'm making a couple of you guys as admin. I'm just going ahead and yeah, I'm doing just that. So I'm just going ahead and making a few of you as admin guys. So if I try to come back, please don't boot me off. Okay, I'm just going ahead and logging in with different network. Are you all able to open the website? Analytics.google.com? Okay. Kula. Can't open, Shraddha? It's opening. It's very slow at my end for some reason. Okay. So I'll go to admin section. Let's see how long it takes me to open this thing up. Now I will select the view wherever I would want to go and create the goal, because all conversions are created at the team level, because all goals are given to the team. So I will go and select a view wherever I would want to go ahead and create the goal. And within the view pillar, I can go and find the goals. Can you all see it on my screen? Great. So I'll click on goals. And again, I will show you the custom option so that you can actually go and see everything. So I'll click on new goal. And let's go and create a registration goal over here. Okay. So I'll click on custom. I'll click on continue. And I will go ahead and name it as registration complete. Okay. Now I would want to go and create a destination based goal over here, because this goal is completed when people go and reach this specific URL. So I can go ahead and take this URL and click on continue and paste it over here. So my goal will be completed when people go and reach this URL. Does it make sense to all? Great. Now you remember that we actually put website URL while creating the account. While creating the account, we actually did put our website URL on the form. So what I can do is I can take this out, this, www.abc.com and just have over here /register-complete.html, because website URL is already present in Google Analytics. Make sense to everyone? Great. Next up is within destination based goals, I have an option to go ahead and create funnels. Then go ahead and put the screen name over here, whatever your screen name is, Ronak. Every screen would be having its own name. So Syed, you're not able to go and see it? I hope everyone can see it, right? Everyone can see my screen? Shraddha, try to log out and log back in. So, Syed, what I'm trying to go and do over here is create a destination-based goal, correct? That we talked about earlier. That when people go ahead and complete their registration, that's when the goal has to be completed. So I'm creating a destination-based goal where I'm saying that when people go and come on this URL, that's when my goal would be completed. Conversion would be completed. Make sense, Syed? Shraddha, can you see it now? Can you see my screen now? Now, if you see, there is an option for funnel as well in destination-based goal. Now, on Play Store, we cannot go ahead and implement a code, right, Vikram? My code has to be implemented over there on the website wherever I want to go and create a goal. Or app wherever I have to go ahead and create a goal. My code has to be over there, right, Vikram? Remember, Google Analytics code has to be placed on each and every page of the website. On Play Store, we are not having any code, right? So Shraddha, can you see it now? So what we can do is we can actually go ahead and create a Google Analytics goal. So I can actually go ahead and select the goal. I can create a new goal where I can go ahead and put the name over here, registration. I can say destination based goal, and I can say that goal would be completed when people go and reach this specific URL. Make sense to all? No, app doesn't have to have a website, but GA code has to be on the website. So wait a minute. So for apps, we'll have to go ahead and select what kind of app is it, Android, iOS, or Unity. And we can actually go ahead and put that kind of a code over there. We don't have to go ahead and put JavaScript code over there, but we have to go and put GA code. Make sense, Sumita? Android would be on Java, iOS will be on Swift, and then Unity will be on C++, if I'm not wrong. So for an app, you have to again go and put the code, but not this one. You'll have to go and get the code from here. How to reach on this page? Okay. So all goals are created at the level of the view. So select the view wherever you would want to go and create the goal. Then once that view is selected, you click on goals over here. Can you see it, Syed? See, there are three pillars: account, property, and view. Within view pillar, there is goal over here. Click over here. And then you click on new goal over here. Click on custom, click on continue, put the name, destination, continue, and this is the screen that you will come up. The same screen that we are at. All right. Should we continue, guys? Great. So within destination based goals, we have an option for funnel as well. Why? Because destination based goals can have multiple steps. Like in our case, we are having 4 steps over here. So what I can do is I can go ahead and create the funnel over here. That when people go ahead and reach the form that is on this particular URL. Then second step is when people go ahead and reach the terms and condition page. That is this particular URL. Does it make sense to everyone? And then people go ahead and reach the confirm details page. There's this URL. Now step 4 is registration complete. Do I have to go and create step 4 over here? Absolutely not. Why? Because it's already over here at the top. So I don't have to go ahead and create step number 4 over here. Registration complete is already over here. Correct, everyone? The purpose of funnel is, now remember the first class when I showed you the funnel graph? The purpose of this funnel is to go ahead and give you that funnel visualization. Do you all remember? I told you 2 kinds of visualizations are very, very important for us marketers. What are those? Funnels and trend lines, right everyone? So what I can do is I can actually go ahead and see my, just go ahead and change the date range over here real quick. Can you all see it? Because 4th step was already over here, the final step, registration complete. Right side, so I don't have to go and add another step for that. So these are the kind of funnels that I would be able to go ahead and see because of these are the kind of visualization that I would be able to go and see once I go and create a funnel. Make sense to all? Guys, yes, no, maybe? Absolutely it does. So, and I will go ahead and show you how you can go ahead and do that as well. Sumedha, that how people can actually go ahead and see what all you have done, what you have not done, and how to go ahead and retarget you. No, it won't affect it, Ronak. But there are times that you cannot go and reach the final URL till the time you have completed all the steps, right? You can only go to the final URL only once you have gone through all the steps. So for that reason, we can actually go ahead and see all these funnels like this. Like no one can reach my report subscription till the time they have followed these steps. Correct, Ronak? So this is why direct entries are 0. Makes sense to everyone? What user details that you want, Vikram? Like their email addresses, their names, their phone numbers. People who started funnel did not complete it. No, dude, that is never available within Google Analytics. But I will tell you how to go ahead and remarket. I'll tell you about it. But this is not, but we never get their user details within Google Analytics. Why? Because that is PII. How many know about PII? I'll tell you about it, Vikram. Don't worry about it. Number one, this is to analyze where people are dropping off. Web analytics is about analysis, right? Remember, we talked about it that if you have to go ahead and improve my conversion rate over here, you will actually go and start working over here. That is, more and more people should go ahead and come from homepage to read my article. This is the purpose of these funnels, right? To go ahead and help you analyze and take action. Remarketing is an added functionality that is given over here within Google Analytics, but the main purpose is to go ahead and analyze data and improve your marketing strategies, improve your platform. Make sense, Vikram? Great. So now there is another concept of value over here. Can you all see this? Now, what is the purpose of value? I'll tell you. Let's say I launch 3 campaigns. Can you all see my screen? Campaign A, B, and C. Campaign A gave me 100 subscriptions, 50 registration, 200 logins. Campaign B gave me 80 subscription, 40 registration, 300 logins. Campaign C gave me 50 subscription, 70 registration, and 100 logins. Right, everyone? Now, if I go ahead and ask you, tell me which is the most successful campaign, what would you say? Which one do you think was the most successful campaign out of these 3? Campaign C? Great. Okay. So these are the 3 goals over here, Shailendra. Subscription, registration, logins. C, Sneha? Okay. B, Yoshita? Great. B, Neha, C, B, C, B. Okay, I tell you where the confusion is. You are confused because you don't know what is more important. For some, subscription is more important. This is why they are saying A. For some, registration would be important. So they are saying C. For those who are saying logins are more important, would be saying B. Correct, everyone? This is what is going on. Because for different people, different things are more important. So what if I go ahead and tell you that every subscription is just like me making $50? Every registration is like me making $100. Every login is me making $10. Correct? Say if I go ahead and give you this kind of a formula, then you would be able to go ahead and create this kind of a chart. And once you have this kind of a chart, you will be able to go ahead and find out that it was campaign A which was most successful on the basis of these values. Correct, everyone? This removes the ambiguity. This removes the confusion. So that is the purpose of goal value. So this is not the money that we are making, but notional money that we think we have made whenever somebody has completed this goal. So this is the weightage of the goal. Does it make sense? So I can go ahead and say that whenever people go ahead and register, this is not me making $100, but this is me making as much as notionally $100 whenever people go ahead and complete this goal. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Right? So this is how we will go ahead and create a goal over here. So when you go ahead and see goal value in my reports, this is that value is coming from. Correct, Yoshita. This is my notional value. So all that money that you see in my reports is not the money that I'm making, dude. But this is the money that I have kept, notional money that I have made whenever people went ahead and achieve the goal. Make sense to all? So this is how we go ahead and create a destination based goal. What is the next step? To go ahead and create a duration based goal. So that is when you would want to go ahead and create a goal for whenever, second is duration based. That is when people spend more than specified period of time on the platform. So what you can do over here is you can say my goal would be achieved when people go ahead and spend more than 30 minutes on my blog, 1 hour 30 minutes on my blog, or 1 hour 30 minutes 45 seconds on my blog, and that is as good as me making $50. Make sense to all? So the other steps are never monetized, Kailash. The goal value will be achieved only when the goal is completed. That is when people have reached that last page. It will not go and give value to intermediary steps. Make sense, Kailash? Sumedha, I'm coming to your question. Notional means something that I think has happened, but it has not really happened. So I think that this is the money that I have made, though I'm not making that money. Mangalat. Make sense, Ayat? Make believe kind of a thing. Okay. Now, Sumedha, you go ahead and tell me about it, okay? Say, I opened Flipkart.com page A from Chrome tab 1 at 1 p.m. Correct? Then I opened Flipkart.com page B from Chrome tab 2 at 1:10 p.m. Then I opened Flipkart.com page C from Chrome tab 3 at 1:20 p.m. How many hits? Correct. 3 hits. How many sessions? 1 session. Correct, everyone? And how many users? 1 user. My browser is the same. My time is over there. Done. Tabs don't matter. So far, so good, everyone. Now let's go to the next step. That is pages per session. What is that? Very simple. So that is when people go ahead and see more than specific number of pages on my website. That is, let's say when people go ahead and see more than 10 pages on my website, 30 pages on my website, that is as good as me making $30. Make sense to all? Great. Last is event based. What is event based? Now see, there are times when we go ahead and perform an action on a website. Notional is like whatever you think, how important is that goal to you, Sayed? No one can go and tell you this is how what you should be doing. That is something that you'll have to go and come up with. Okay. Now see, what are events? There are certain times when we go ahead and perform an action on the website, but the page doesn't change. Correct, everyone? There are times when we go and perform an action on the website, but the page doesn't change. For example, if I go and play this video my page will not change, correct? So the video will go ahead and start playing right over here in this page itself, right everyone? So this is not really a page view, correct? But this is an interaction, this is a hit. I have interacted with the website. So we go ahead and track these kind of activities with the help of events. Make sense to all? So at the click of these places, these actions, when people perform an action where page URL doesn't change, we track these activities with the help of events. So your web developers will have to go and pass on a JavaScript code. That would be GA send event, then it has to be event category, event action, event label. Now what does it mean? Say, so there are certain times, Syed. So ads are handled by Google Ads or some display network, right? But say there are certain times, Syed, when we go and perform an action on a website, on your own website, but the page URL doesn't change, right? Like if I go ahead and play a video over here, my page URL will not change, correct? So we go ahead and track these kind of actions with the help of events. Make sense, Syed? So at the click of these actions, this is the kind of a code that has to be passed by your web developers. So in our case, which I showed you the video example, what they have to do is they have to go ahead and pass on this kind of an event. Send event, event category can be video, event action is play, a video was played, event label can be name of the video. That is coronavirus vaccination, let's say. COVID vaccination. Does it make sense? So this is something that your web developer will have to go ahead and do. So they will go ahead and put all these kind of events on your website. But some of these events would be important for you to go ahead and take as a goal, as a conversion. For example, video played. That can be an important goal for you. That can be an important conversion for you. So what you can do is you can actually go ahead and create an event-based goal within Google Analytics where you can go ahead and say, whenever event category is video and the action is play, go ahead and count it as a goal complete. So maybe even that can be done with the help of events. Again, your web developers will have to go and code that, but they can do that. Does it make sense? And you can actually go and put a goal value over here. Let's say this is like you making $10. So this goal will be completed only when people go ahead and click on that video to play it. Because the event category has to be video and action has to be play. Not pause, not stop, but play. Make sense, Syed? Yes, this is the exact function that a developer needs to use. Correct, Raj. This would work. At the click of the video, that's where this code has to be placed. Whenever a video like this has to be clicked, this code has to be fired. Make sense to all? Pretty much like that, Ronak, correct. That is for the whole session, Rishabh. Duration based is whole session. Pages per session is pages per session, right? So far, so good, everyone. Again, you can actually go ahead and your developers can go ahead and write those functions, Vikram. So this is what I do. So I actually go ahead and pass on the percentage over here, how much percentage that people have seen, like 50%, 100%, 25%, something like this. So I can actually go ahead and see how much people are watching, how many people go ahead and watch 25%, 50%, 100% videos. Any other question, guys? थक गए सारे लगता है आज. Too tired today because we did all theory today, correct? No? Had fun? At the click of that event, Raj, for the click of that video, whatever function that you are having in your HTML page, you have to have that. For example, if I go and give you my site's example, let me show it to you. Not over here. You see this button over here? I have this code at the click of this button. So let me just show it to you over here where I have placed it. Or I can probably go ahead and show you from here itself. Okay, can you see it? GA send event button click store name. So this is the kind of code that you need to go ahead and place. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it on what day it happened, what time it happened, who did this, all these kind of details I'm getting within Google Analytics. See, Sai, to reduce bounce rate, first of all, you'll have to go ahead and see whether you are actually going ahead and targeting the right target group or not. Then you'll have to go and make sure that your page is actually engaging. So in our next class, what I can do is I can go ahead and show you one of the case study from my client, what they were doing wrong, where the bounce rate was. I can go ahead and show that to you if that gives you some kind of an idea. But bounce rate is more often than not, your targeting strategy is wrong. All right, everyone. Any other question, guys? If you give me a minute, I will go ahead and give you the. Oh well, Sumedha, I've got like what 13 years I've spent in this domain, right? Sure, we can go ahead and talk about it. So guys, this is the feedback link. If you can please let me know how did the session go. We'll take a pause over here. Absolutely, they would know Vikram. Else, they can go ahead and follow. There is a lot of help available out there for Google Analytics. People can go ahead and see how to go ahead and do it. I really hope that you have had fun, and let me know what went well, what did not go well. In our next session, we will go ahead and do segmentation UTM parameters, and then we will also go ahead and look into e-commerce reports at some point of time. So our week 3 has completed today, correct everyone? Thanks, Smita. Great, everyone. So you all do take care, and we'll see you on Tuesday. We have 2 more weeks, so we have pretty much crossed the mid stage. We have covered more than half of the content, and the best thing is that we are doing with case study, so nobody is actually feeling that stress that we have actually covered half of the content and we are still okay, right? Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you all on Tuesday. Bye, guys. Good night. Good night, guys. Take care.